Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Lake Report. I'm Katie Sartoris, the community editor at the Daily Commercial, and your host here on the Lake Report. It's been a busy week in our newsroom with a tragic story here in Leesburg. On Tuesday afternoon, a Firehawk helicopter crashed near Leesburg International Airport. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, the four-person crew was performing a training exercise. All four bodies had been recovered by Wednesday. The crash is still under investigation by the FAA and National Transportation Safety Board, so make sure you're following us on Facebook and dailycommercial.com for the latest updates. We're keeping the families of the victims and the Firehawk family in our thoughts and prayers. And now for some COVID vaccine news. More than 222,000 people in Lake and Sumter counties have been fully vaccinated. If you aren't among them, you still have plenty of opportunities to get your vaccine. The site at Lake Square Mall closed this week, but don't worry. Retail pharmacies like Publix, CVS, Walgreens, Sam's Club, Winn-Dixie, and Walmart have started offering walk-ins. Check their websites for more details. In our salute section this week, read about Cameron Clinton, a 22-year-old Eustis High School grad who is now serving his country as a sailor on the USS Dewey, which is currently docked in San Diego. According to Clinton, whose father was a submariner, a day on deck is the best day in the Navy. Thank you for your service, Cameron. It's graduation time. Lake County seniors are donning their caps and gowns as they move on to the next stages of their lives. We're covering ceremonies across the county this week, so keep an eye on our website for coverage. We're also still highlighting some amazing seniors. This week we featured Leesburg High School senior Jawan Townsend, an AP art student who used his final year of high school to explore his craft. He dove into new mediums, including photography and cyanotype art. Townsend also earned the Jan Smith Art Scholarship from the Leesburg Center for the Arts. He'll be attending Lake Sumter State College this fall, where he'll major in art and minor in business. We also checked in with Mackenzie Householder, a senior who excelled with her non-traditional education. Mackenzie has been a Lake County virtual student since 7th grade, the youngest of 5 LCVS grads. She's graduating on June 3rd with a 4.3 GPA and plans to study education. Congratulations, Jawan and Mackenzie, and the rest of Lake County's class of 2021 graduates. It's been a big week for Eustis High School's softball team. After winning their division's state championship, they've come home for a victory lap, culminating in a parade in downtown Eustis on Wednesday evening. The ladies' season was so impressive that the commercial sports reporter Frank Jolly said this team may be the best in the history of Lake and Sumter counties. We caught up with head coach Brittany Beal and several of the players.
What got us to state was a lot of hard work, dedication from the girls. They trusted in the process, and they got the state.
I felt really confident. I felt like this season was going to be really great. We had a lot of talent on the team, and I knew in my heart that we were going to make it all the way.
Would you recommend playing softball at Eustis High School?
I mean, if you're up for a challenge, playing softball at Eustis is definitely a big challenge, but hard work pays off, and as you can see, we got the title, so.
From us at the Commercial and Lakefront TV, huge kudos to Coach Beal and the team. And those are just the highlights from this week's news reports. We have more on our website, dailycommercial.com. Make sure to like us on Facebook too. Coming up next, hurricane season starts June 1st. When we come back, a special report to help you and your family stay ahead of the storm. Next on the Lake Report. Welcome back to the Lake Report. Just in time for hurricane season, a new bill was signed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, creating the 2021 Disaster Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday from May 28th through June 6th. The 10-day sales tax holiday allows Floridians to prepare for hurricane season while not having to pay sales tax on essential disaster preparedness items. Some examples of tax-free items include flashlights costing $40 or less, radios $50 or less, and generators costing $1,000 or less. Not sure what you should have on hand? Let's toss things over to City of Leesburg's Rachel Novak for some tips to stay ahead of the storm.
Hi, I'm Rachel Novak with the City of Leesburg. In the midst of hurricane season, it's important to stay smart and ahead of the storm. Every year, it's the same scenario. A hurricane warning is issued and people rush to the stores. It's important that you have your emergency kit ready to grab and go. This emergency kit should have the following: first aid supplies, extra batteries, flashlights, candles or lamps, matches or lighters, materials and tools for emergency home repairs, prescription drugs, a portable radio, and be sure to include a 3-day supply of drinking water and non-perishable food. Another good tip this hurricane season: have an evacuation plan. If evacuation is necessary, be sure to turn off all utilities and follow local disaster preparedness plans. Select a common meeting place or single point of contact for all of your family members. This can be a shelter or another designated safe place. If you have pets, have a plan for their evacuation as well. Now, if you're planning on staying home to ride out the storm, identify a room that is safe to shelter in place. This enclosed area should be on the first floor of your home in the central part of the house with no windows. Avoid all unprotected windows and doors until the storm has passed. Another important thing to keep in mind: keep important documents such as legal papers, birth certificates, financial papers, and insurance policy information, as well as valuables such as jewelry, in a safety deposit box or in a bolted safe in an interior closet in your home. When it comes to the outside of your home, there's a few things to keep in mind. You always want to protect windows, doors, and skylights by installing the appropriate shutters or impact-resistant glass. You can also screw pieces of plywood to your window frames as last-minute protection. Also, be sure to secure the exterior. Trim large trees and shrubs, and bring all outside patio furniture, grills, and other items indoors. Move cars to higher ground or park them in your garage. Do not park under trees, power lines, or in low-lying areas. You also want to be sure to fill your car's gas tank, test your generator, and have plenty of fuel ready in case of power outages. Now, even after the storm has passed, there's a few things to keep in mind. It's only safe to return to the area once authorities say it is safe to do so. Do not enter damaged buildings until they are inspected by a qualified professional. Never walk or drive on flooded roads or through floodwaters. Look out for downed or unstable trees, poles, and power lines. Do not remove heavy debris by yourself. Wear gloves and sturdy, thick-soled shoes to protect your hands and feet. One last tip: do not drink tap water until the utility company says it is safe to do so. For more hurricane tips, visit leesburgflorida.gov.
Thanks, Rachel, for that informative report. For a disaster checklist, log on to floridadisaster.org/kit. It's a great site with resources to help you and your family stay safe this hurricane season. Don't touch that dial. When we come back, we visit one of Leesburg's oldest residences, the Mote-Morris House. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Lake Report. I'm Katie Sartoris. The City of Leesburg is proud to announce the reopening of the historic Mote-Morris House. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is on Tuesday, June 1st at 10 a.m. The Victorian home is one of the few original remaining residences in Leesburg. Matter of fact, the Mote-Morris House only had a few minor modifications in its 102 years. But in 2018, a fire severely damaged the house. On our next report, Lakefront TV's Joni Smalley met up with the architect to discuss the restoration of the house back to its original charm.
Hi, I'm Joni Smalley with Lakefront TV. We're here on location at Mote-Morris House. It's been another month. Let's get an update from Blake.
With finishing up with our building rough-in, all of our exterior doors and trim we're finishing up next week. We'll have the insulation going in, and then we'll continue right into the wallboard. And after that, it's just all the interior finishes. So everything's looking good.
I'm here with Eric Kleinstuber from KMF Architects to tell us a little bit about Mote-Morris. So, tell us the difference between a restoration and renovation.
Sure. A renovation is when we're actually changing a space, okay? A restoration is when we're methodically putting everything back exactly like it was. Here at Mote-Morris, we have a house that was on the National Register of Historic Places. It's still on the National Register of Historic Places, but obviously, as everybody knows, it went through a tragic fire. Our project here is somewhere in between a renovation and restoration. After the design team got into the house, there were just parts of the project that we were not able to save because they were simply completely destroyed. So we spent a lot of hours and months, really, measuring existing profiles, going through pieces of the project that were burned, and then having those pieces replicated, but maybe not out of the original materials. So some of the materials might have been out of a endangered species. So there were some historic mahoganies that we weren't able to replicate that maybe are being redone out of oak or pine. But at the same time, we've tried to keep as many of the existing pieces in the house that we could. So most of the stairs are existing to remain. We've saved much of the historic oak flooring. The floors are being put back in with a very similar species that had to been replaced. We've saved pieces of flooring from one room and patched another room, and then replaced the floors in maybe the room that was heavily damaged.
Why don't you show me around?
Okay. Well, Joni, here we are in the main entry foyer, which was actually one of the least damaged spaces. And as you can see, it is still pretty heavily damaged, and we had to really come at the project pretty hard. All of the wall coverings, not just the actual wall covering, but the plaster itself was completely damaged, both by smoke, fire, and water. So we had to remove all of that material. Now, one of the places where we were talking about the difference between restoration and renovation, based on project budget, we actually are putting back traditional wallboard like we would all have in our normal home, as opposed to a historic plaster. By reallocating those funds, the city was able to upgrade the fire protection system, which wasn't in the original project. Right. So we were able to work that through with the city and our contractor partners to make sure that our dollars were spent wisely. Okay. So maybe we'll show you a spot that was almost completely removed from the house. So here we are on the west porch. So the fire actually started underneath the floor here. What's interesting is the floor itself is part of the original structure, but the entire roof of the porch and all of the surroundings had to be completely rebuilt, including this entire exterior wall. The fire then moved underneath the dining room and then went up into the second floor. So even though the fire started under the house, we actually had a lot of structural damage upstairs, which was atypical or unexpected. Here in the dining room, we have had significant damage to the structure of the house. At the same time, we couldn't remove the second floor, so we actually came in and from the exterior slid sistered joists back in. So you have the original structure, which you can see is fire damaged. It's been contained with a fire containment barrier, but a brand new piece of structure right next to it as well. So Joni, you were asking about some of the challenges. Like any construction job, it's a living, breathing animal. In this case, as we started demoing and reshoring and adding structural elements, a couple things actually came up that were more damaged than we expected. So on the east porch here, we had to actually completely rebuild the porch and bathroom, which was not in the original design. So Joni, we're upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and this is one of the spaces where we're actually going to be able to save the historic floor. So while it is damaged, it's not completely destroyed. So our team is going to just expertly come in and resurface all of this existing flooring. So as we know, fire rises, right? So eventually it made its way up into the attic space and completely just ravaged the roof of the building, even though it started in the basement or the subfloor. Because of that, we had to essentially replace 95% of the roof structure. Before we were able to do that, we had to structurally brace the entire house. So the whole house had secondary bracing, cross bracing around the entire perimeter and the floors. And then we were able to literally pop the lid off the house and then stick frame and rebuild the entire roof structure from scratch. So Joni, as a design team, we know that the Mote-Morris House is an important part of the city of Leesburg. It's part of the fabric of the city. It's been here longer than any of us have. And we just want everybody to know that our ultimate goal as a design team was to bring the house back to what it was. And for the average visitor, when they show up, to not really know a difference before and after the fire. And it's just going to be a really beautiful project when we're done.
Thanks, Eric, for showing us the Mote-Morris House. Don't forget to support your local businesses and share a little sunshine. See you next time on Lakefront TV. Thanks for that report, Joni. Again, the ribbon cutting ceremony is scheduled for June 1st at 10 a.m. It's
It's located at 1195 West Magnolia Street in downtown historic Leesburg. Don't touch that dial. More Lake Report right after this break. We hope you're enjoying our weekly magazine show. If you have a story idea, please shoot us an email to lakefront@leesburgflorida.gov. Our next segment comes from the video production team at Eustis High School's Studio 126. A lot of interesting people come from Kansas. Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz and thespian standout Madeline Ashley are amongst this group. Transferring to Eustis, Florida during this past school year, Madeline found her new home with the high school drama club. Hear about her latest adventures and maybe even a Dorothy impression on this week's Rutland Rundown.
Hi, Lake County. I'm your host, Rashawn Rutland, and you're watching the Rutland Rundown. On today's edition, we will be speaking to Madeline Ashley, a junior at Eustis High School and a member of Eustis High School's drama club. So tell us a little about yourself, Madeline.
I'm Madeline Ashley. I attend Eustis High School. I moved here to Lake County in August. I attend Eustis High Theater. I moved here from Eudora, Kansas, which is close to Lawrence, Kansas, and that is close to Kansas City.
And how exactly did you get into theater?
So I've been in theater my entire life. Like all of my family have all been in drama or choir or things like that. In my previous school, there wasn't really a big drama community. It was more theater or band related. So I was in choir my entire life, and I have a lot of musical training and expertise. Drama and like acting just kind of comes naturally. So.
And do you plan on pursuing the arts in college?
I want to go into history, and I either want to be like a curator at a museum or be a history teacher, because I've always found that history comes very easily to me, and it's very interested in it. And there's a museum in Kansas City, back in Kansas, that I go to like every single year, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and I love going there. It's like a dream for me. So, and theater's more like a hobby to me. I never really wanted to pursue it.
And in the recent play, 13 the Musical, we know that you played a dual role, both a boy and a girl. Tell us exactly, how did you come to that decision?
It wasn't really me who decided. It was Schulte, our drama teacher. During auditions, I was actually, I didn't really know any of the parts. And so I just wrote down a bunch of female names on my paper for, like, to give to her, like, oh, this is what I want to audition for. But there was one part where we were doing cold reads, which is where she's giving you a script and you just go off of whatever. And so she gave it to me, and it was Evan, the part that I played. And she was like, that was so good. Like, she wasn't even planning on having any of the roles be, played by a different gender. She didn't want that at all. But I changed her view completely from what I did. And she was like, I need you to be Evan.
And would you recommend theater to anybody? I
would. It's a very fun time. And you get to know people that you wouldn't normally get to know. And it's like you get to experience new things. You get to perform in front of people, which I know is nerve-wracking, but it is really fun when you get to do it. And it teaches you things like public speaking and like all of that is great for the future. Yeah.
And real quick, can you give us your best Dorothy impression?
I told you I wasn't going to do anything like that. This interview's done. I'm done.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys next time on the Rutland Rundown.
We wish Madeline the very best. It's now time for our small business profile. This week, Cindy Peterson catches up with a couple that are bringing their two passions to life together here in Leesburg, Florida. Meet Chris English of My Village Radio and Kate English of the Succulent Soapery.
Good morning, it's the all-new MyVillageRadio.com. My name is Chris English. We have the greatest hits of all time on tap for you, like this one by Bon Jovi.
Chris and Kate English have found a new way to pursue their dreams together by opening a conjoined soapery for her and radio station for him. This way, the two can still work side by side.
Hi, I'm Chris English, the president of MyVillageRadio.com.
And I'm Kate English, the owner of the Succulent Soapery.
Well, when we leased the space and built it out, we built it mainly for the soap business. Kate was kind enough to allow me to have a corner of the building to set up a studio and start my business. But throughout the day, we're able to separate just enough to get our work done. But it's also nice to work with your spouse and your best friend.
Basically, when COVID hit, our main company that we own together, Shea Coach, shut down, and I needed something to do and obviously something to earn an income while we wait for that industry to come back. So out of that, the Succulent Soapery was born, and my sister and I started making soaps, and we've expanded to make bath bombs and candles and all kinds of bath and body products. We make all of our soaps here. They're cold process soaps, and we make them in the manufacturing room in the back, and they cure for 2 to 4 weeks on average, and then we offer them here for sale. We normally have like anywhere between 25 to 35 different varieties of soap at any given time. So we like to have a variety of like scents and colors and different kind of themes to the soap every month. And we do most of our business online, and we also do like bubble scoops, which is an eco-friendly alternative to like a traditional bubble bath. So that's super cool.
Once we decided that I could have some studio space, I think Kate really just wanted to have somebody that could lift heavy buckets and get things off the high shelves. But it gave me a chance to build the studio. I've always wanted to build my own station. I did radio and TV stuff for about 20 years before, so this gave me the chance to kind of jump back into it full time and hopefully bring something new to the community.
Chris does everything from voice recording to lining up the playlist in his studio.
So the studio actually came together over several months. We were able to source a lot of the equipment through various used sources. We do have some new equipment in here as well, but the heart of the system is the main console here. So we've got 24 channels to mix everything together, microphones, outside sources. We can even tap into television channels. Then we have our main computer here. We've got over 2,400 songs that are in the system currently, and we add new music every day. And each day we also go through and hand select the playlist of the songs that you hear. So when I say that we play everything from the 50s to the 2020s, it takes a long time to really get that flow right. So we play everything from Elvis to the Eagles, the Association to Adele, and all points in between, and it all comes out of this guy. We've got 2 other computer screens here that help us do commercial production for our clients, and also I can pull up news in the morning, weather forecasts, temperatures, all of that stuff, and that way we have all the latest information right here. We actually do have a turntable. A lot of folks wonder whether it's all digital or whether we do have some of the other equipment, but we do have a turntable here. We've got a few albums that we can play, a couple CD players, and then of course a book of CDs as well. So that's basically the overview of the equipment that we have, and a lot of it is kind of the behind the scenes scheduling for the music and things like that.
Meanwhile, Kate is busy preparing her handmade soap creations.
So after we make the soaps, they come back here into our curing room where they stay for 4 weeks. And then after that, they're ready to go either on the shelf or we sell them online on our website. All right, so these are the soaps that we have currently, which we come up with some new designs every month. My sister and I sit down and we kind of sketch out the process. I'm horrible at drawing, but we do draw them out and try and see what we'd like the soaps to look like. But right now, let's see, one of our most popular soaps is Aloha. We actually had a poll on Instagram, and we let all of our Instagram followers pick the scents and the colors and kind of the design. And so we also let them name the soap, and this has been one of our most popular this month. This one is one of our special soaps for February. It's kind of a Valentine's Day-ish inspired soap. It's called Candy Shop, and it's one of our artisan soaps. And we hand pipe all of the, we call it frosting, on top of the soap, but it's just more soap. And this guy is scented like peppermint and vanilla and sugar, and it's a really, really fun scent. And it makes kids really want to wash their hands or like use it in the shower, which is nice.
To learn more, visit succulentsoapery.com and listen to all your favorite music at myvillageradio.com.
What a great story. We wish Chris and Kate the very best. Well, that's all the time we have left. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to follow and like us on Facebook, and you can of course catch all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. Until next time, get out and explore our beautiful lakefront city. We'll see you next time.